Greetings from the intersection of Cleveland and Brooklyn, Ohio. Today is Sunday, June 19th, 2022. It is about 4:51 p.m. and it's also, well, the day I'm filming this is both Happy Father's Day and Juneteenth. So two kind of holidays both on one. We're outside of Brookside Reservation. I did a bicycling video where I went in Brookside before and showed a bunch of bike paths, but this time I'm going to go down Ridge Road. Now for some perspective, I believe the left side is Cleveland still, and I think the right side is Brooklyn. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and start this bike ride. I'm gonna attach my device to my chest mount. We're gonna try to go through Brooklyn Park, so we're gonna deviate off of Ridge Road pretty soon. Go through Brooklyn Park, then take some back roads eventually to get to Big Creek Parkway, and then we'll see how far we get on the Big Creek Parkway. Okay, I have the camera mounted to my chest now, so let's begin riding here. Forgot if I mentioned the temperature or not, but it's about 72 degrees. Supposed to get a little bit cloudy, although the sun is out a pretty good amount right now. You can see on the right side here, like Orchard Grove, the signs are green. I don't know if you can tell from the camera angle, but on the left side, Orchard Grove, the sign is blue. So again, blue is Cleveland, green is Orchard Grove. You can see the 71 bus line appears to go down Ridge Road here. I know the 49 used to go down, I thought the 49 used to go down Ridge Road, but I'm not sure. That's one of the buses, or one of the streets I've seldom taken a bus down is Ridge Road. Again, Meadowbrook here. Right side is Brooklyn, left side is Cleveland, although I believe the left side is the area where they would call it Old Brooklyn. Old Brooklyn encompasses a pretty big area. One of these days I'll have to actually go down Ridge Road in its entirety. That'll bring back some memories when I was younger and our family used to go on car rides. Ridge Road going out to Parma was often one of the roads we would take like on a regular basis on Sundays. Coming up here on the right, Primo Piatto Restaurant is what the sign says now. I don't know if it's actually open. It doesn't look like it is. I think it used to be, God, what did it used to be called when I was younger? Was that Augustino's? It used to have like a fancy cartoonish chef sign on top of the curved area. But I feel like it's been empty or vacant for a long time. On the very left there, again, you may not be able to see this. Let me try to turn my chest that way. There's a Domino's that is over there now, along with a Poppin' place associated with the Shell gas station. On the right side here is Huntington. When I was a kid growing up, this used to be a BP gas station, but now it's a Huntington bank branch, and there's a PNC bank branch next to it. We're gonna make a right here though on Memphis. Yeah, that's the PNC branch. That one's been there a long time. On the left side, Marco's Pizza is still there. There's also a Bulldog ice cream. So I can actually cross the street here. No one's coming either direction. Yeah, I didn't know there was an ice cream shop here. I knew this triangular place was here, but I didn't know it was an ice cream shop. Seems to have quite a few cars there. This is always a cool decorative memorial to check out. The Air Force TR-263. That's what the plane says, although the actual sign here says T-33A Shooting Star. I'm going to go ahead and, as I often do, try to grab some pictures along the way here. Interestingly enough, this bike ride that I'm doing today, I also did in, I believe it was November 2020. I didn't film it at all because I didn't have my Poco Traveler channel, but I remember distinctly it being that day. And the reason was, that was the first year where COVID really hit hard. And I know some people still went out and did things, but I, hardly did anything in terms of long distance recreational things. But in November 2020, there was one particular day we just had a beautiful, like 75 degree sunny day. So I was like, I had been fed up with just being sheltered inside, and it was still going to be a solo activity. Quick aside, I wonder what they're building on the right, because on the right side has always been like I think that's a recreation center, pool area, and then behind there's a couple of ball diamonds, but now I see a new structure being built there. But anyway, yeah, I was frustrated with being inside, so I said, screw it, I'm going on a bike ride. And it was like perfect, and I took the same route that I'm planning on taking today, through this park and then to Big Creek Parkway. And I took a bunch of pictures that day, saw some deer in Big Creek Parkway. It was great. I am going to make a couple of stops here to check out some of these things, like Blue Star Memorial, a tribute to the armed forces who have defended the United States. That's a nice nice memorial. More and more places where I go and see the parks, I'm starting to recognize these memorials that exist in honor of Laddie J. Holub, City of Brooklyn Memorial Park. Yeah, and I believe that's what this is called, Brooklyn Memorial Park. So that gives some more context to the name of the park, as I'm just circling around to see these little benches. Looks like each of them are dedicated to someone. And also over on this side you have a lot of emblems. I don't know if I can show them. Yeah, you can see them in the camera, kinda. Department of the Army, Marine Corps, Navy, Air Force, Coast Guard. That'd be nice to get a picture from this angle too. All right, let's continue on the bike ride here. Actually, I should probably loop back around and go enter in through this side. I think that'll give me easier access to the path that I want. Over on the left, I know there's a nice playground area for kids. The right side here, I never know if this is publicly usable. I feel like it's not. I feel like you have to either reserve the courts or be a resident. but I just want to show it real quick because I was like in awe of these when I was younger, how they just look like the coolest basketball courts. You can see how it has the blue and orange, like it's not a cement surface, it's a, I don't want to call it rubber because I'm sure the ball would bounce weird on that, but it's a very nice surface. They've got 2 full court basketball courts. Looks like these ones on the left don't have the rims up, but yeah, it is fenced and locked. So I've never been exactly sure how one would rent those out. Park office is on the left. Looks like you've got, this is kind of weird on the right. I don't know what this is. Like it says Ridge and Biddulph, Safety Town. There's like a few mini houses. It's like Brooklyn Recreation Center, Brooklyn Fire Department, Brooklyn Police Station. I mean, it looks like something you would put kids in, but I don't know what they would do. Maybe just play tag. It's kind of creative. I don't remember that one in the past. I always like this hill here because you just coast straight down it. Don't have to pedal. Not too steep of an incline, but enough where you just go straight down. It's a very wide path too. I mean, cars cannot drive through here. I mean, city vehicles can, so you still have to be aware of that. But otherwise, it's a nice wide path to just go straight down. Now I could just, I will eventually be just exiting the park, so it's not a super long area. But I also kind of want to show off these mini trails that they have where you can walk through or ride through. So this is just going to be a big weaving path that goes back and forth. You can't go super fast if you're riding a bike because of the sharp turns. But there's some nice greenery, possibly some wildlife. I'm sure there are deer who go through this area as well. I remember when I took this route in November 2020, I thought that maybe I could go through, I don't remember what the next street is called, but I thought essentially I could exit Brooklyn Park going more toward the what direction? I think the south. And instead I had to just complete the full circle and go back to the eastward path. Caution, trail ends here. Okay, so I guess I didn't take this part of the trail before. Well, that was a fun thing of making it look like I knew what I was talking about. The trail that I took back in November 2020 must have actually been a little bit further down. But that's still nice to see that the trail ends there. It kind of makes sense why the upkeep of this area, because as I was riding it, I was like, man, it's kind of strange. The upkeep is not as well as I thought it was. That's okay, it wasn't that big of a detour. So we'll just go a little bit further, and you'll probably see why I was confused, because it's kind of right in the same location. Okay, so instead of that trail that I just went down, it was this one right here on the left. A little bit over the creek, past the South Creek Pavilion. Yeah, so this is the one I was thinking of. My apologies. So you're traveling uphill initially here. And this is what I was talking about going south. In November 2020, I thought it could go through, I don't know if this is Brooklyn High School or what school, but I thought I could just go straight through, and now it actually looks like I probably could walk straight through. But back then they were doing some type of construction. I don't know if they were revamping the whole football field or what. I just remember there was a lot of construction. I couldn't get through, so I just ended up taking the trail all the way back. Oh, there's a deer. The deer froze as soon as it saw me and then took off. Went through this little gateway. Now I gotta stop and make sure my video was recording to capture that, right? Yes, it should have been. We should have plenty of deer though in the Big Creek Parkway portion later on. That was a brightly colored deer, like orangish, very orangish. I don't remember on this path that I'm circling on now, does it loop back to the front, or am I going to reach a dead end? Maybe I'll run into my deer friend again. I'm just getting a feeling that this is going to be a dead end down here. Should I even bother? I think I demonstrated the point enough. Caution, trail ends here. All right, I see. So yeah, I won't keep going. That is pretty silly, right? That they have like 3 different points on this trail. It's a nice area, but it's almost like they did it incomplete. Like, why didn't they build a bridge or do just a little bit further digging to allow you to, you know, connect to the whole trail and just loop around or keep looping around? I'm just going to cut through the grass here and save myself about a minute worth of biking. Yeah, maybe not the best trail for bicyclists. Perhaps maybe more for jogging and walking. Exiting will at least be funner because you get to go downhill. But like I cautioned earlier, still safe to go slower downhill, at least for me. Not necessarily the downhill aspect, the curving, turning aspect. So I saw one deer and a couple squirrel, and I hear, what are those, like beetles or locusts making their noises in the trees to my left. And lots of people enjoying the picnics. Caution, trail ends here. So now we're back to where we entered this part of the trail, and we're going to exit Brooklyn Memorial Park by going to the left here. There's another baseball diamond. This one is Rita Brown, Field of Dreams. 290 feet to center field. What the heck? Wait a minute. Am I losing my mind here? They got rid of the bridge. I took this path in 2020, and this was a bridge that connected this area. That's why I came this way. I wonder if I could still get through on the grass here. I don't think I can. I swear it looks like there's a trail that goes over there. I wonder if that trail that said trail ends here actually goes through still. I think I'm getting thoroughly confused right now. Well, I'm going to try one of two things. First, I'm going to go where it says trail ends here and see if it actually ends there. And if it does, then I'm just going to say screw it, and I'm going to go back up by that football field and walk through the grass. I won't video that part, but I'm not going to ride all the way back to the front of the park, especially since that would be uphill. So let's see here. Does the trail indeed end here? All right. Okay, the trail doesn't appear to end. Maybe it does go to the front of the park. Or back of the park. Yeah, it does. All right, maybe this is what I took in November 2020 and I just got confused, but I could have sworn that there was a connection there, but so my mistake on that. Yeah, that was just probably me misremembering, but I figured it out now. Let me try to get a picture of Brooklyn Memorial Park before I start riding. I mean, the fact that they have this entryway here closed off makes you think that at one point there was a road that went straight through and a bridge. But now we're going to go ahead and ride on, what street is this? I don't know, those signs are messed up there. We'll figure out the street name later. On Google Maps, this is one of the roads where they do advertise that bikes can share the road. But unless they have a true dedicated lane, I usually just prefer riding it. I had debated going down West 105th Street to Bel Air and then turning on, what street would that be called? 117th, which leads into Lyndale and goes over by Memphis Kitty Park to go into Brooklyn and Parma, eventually to the Big Creek Parkway. But that Memphis Bridge just past or outside of Lyndale that connects you near Kitty Park. A few months ago, they put it down to one lane of traffic because they were doing construction on it. But then, I think a few weeks ago, they announced that they closed the bridge entirely because they found structural issues with it. It looks like a very short bridge, but I'm not sure if they're gonna have to like tear the whole thing down now or what, but that's a pretty frequented area, so that's gonna be a big traffic detour for anyone wanting to go to places they usually go to in that area. I think Ridge Road would get more traffic. So now we're in a portion of Brooklyn where the entire area is Brooklyn. We're distancing ourselves from the Cleveland area. It's like there's a cemetery on the left with a bunch of raised headstones. Ridge Park Square would be Ridge Park Square would be not quite at Biddulph. Biddulph is Biddulph Plaza if we went down the ridge, but if you went even further down, maybe like 2 or 3 blocks, you would get to Ridge Park Square, which is a nice big shopping complex. These houses are nice to just like stroll around and ride through, but if you just keep riding in that direction, you're just going to be going into dead ends. I do remember there was some street over here on the left, one of these roads, way back like probably 15, 20 years ago. We're having a garage sale And they had a bunch of Tim Couch bobbleheads where Tim Couch was standing inside of Brown Stadium. They probably had like 20 of them, but I bought one. I can't remember if it was $1 or $3 or $5. It was definitely less than $5. My instinct is to say is that it was just $1. I mean, Tim Couch had no longer been the Browns quarterback at the time. But still memorable to get that item at the time. I miss going to garage sales and estate sales and finding deals. It's been so long since I've done that. In fact, before I left here, I was getting a few little nostalgia on that because my mom was showing me a video she saw on YouTube about some lady going to a garage sale and bargaining for a box of like plush stuffed animals representing the Misfit toys or characters from Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. And the reason that like rung with us is because in the video they were talking about like, oh, so-and-so used to work at CVS and they got this box of stuffed animals. As a worker, they just like got them and never opened them. And way back, probably like again 10, 15 years ago, our parents had given us a couple of those CVS stuffed animals from the Misfit Toys as Christmas decorations. So we always thought those were unique and cool, and just to see them highlighted in a video gave me memories of like, oh, you know, you could always find some gems in garage sales, estate sales, street sales, rummage sales. If by chance, probably not likely since I'll be going through Big Creek Parkway, but like if I was going through one of these streets and someone had a sign that said Sunday garage sale, I was determined to make a pit stop at it and show it on video maybe. There's some sign here in the wind. What does this say? Rubbish pickup will be 1 day late. No special pickups. Rubbish? I'm not looking for rubbish. I'm looking for garage sales. But that was one of the things I was thinking too, because again, it's been so long. I was pondering to myself, well, geez, we used to look those garage sales up in the Plain Dealer or Sun News and go on a weekend to check them out. Some of these houses are very pretty and nice, by the way. And I feel like this area here is probably a low crime area. I could be totally wrong on that, but that's always been my mental impression. Now, if you're in these houses, you do have to deal with the big transformers on both sides. But the land area seems quite big on some of these houses and their backyards. Oh, some of these are duplexes. Anyway, where was I about the garage sales? Oh yeah, we used to always find them in the Sun News or Plain Dealer. So I was thinking to myself, geez, I don't even know where you would look to see those advertised these days. My mom was suggesting that probably Facebook Marketplace or OfferUp would have those type of listings, which makes sense. So maybe in a future video I'll see if there's some type of street sale. I think that would be pretty fun, even though I know Poco Traveler this channel is meant to showcase neighborhoods and tourist attractions, but I think it's fun to also show some fun activities that you can do like that. If you haven't noticed from watching my videos before, to help make the time go by as we're riding, I just love doing those type of commentaries. As you saw the little Bigfoot statue on the left. These long driveways. That's another nice thing to be, because it's a heavily populated street. It's nice to be far away from the street. Probably reduces the noise level. And I'm telling you, man, the backyards in these places are freaking huge. Front yards are huge and the backyards are huge. I mean, sorry, let me try to turn for a second and show you. Like, do you see that? That goes like all the way back. The name of this road was escaping me earlier, but I haven't seen the sign yet. Now I think it's Tiedeman Road, right? Or am I mistaken on that? Pretty sure it's Tiedeman. We'll see as we get closer. Yep, that's it, Tiedeman. Got a Fifth Third Bank here on the left. Let me turn for a second toward the right. On the right, there's the City of Brooklyn sign. Let me plug my power bank in and out. Sometimes this isn't actually charging like it should be. There you go, now it's charging again. 69% it says, so for whatever reason that connection gets loose sometimes. If the connection doesn't stay, I'll have to pause at some point and let it charge a bit before resuming the video. Over on the right side is the Plain Dealer building. Now they closed the writers used to write downtown, I believe kind of near Lakeside or somewhere around there. Just 1 second before I continue. You've got to see what this construction sign is. Oh, it's probably mentioning the Memphis Bridge being out. Road closed, Memphis Avenue westbound. Yeah, that sign is related to the bridge. But over there on the left, I don't know if you can see it, so let me turn. That's the Plain Dealer building. So if I'm not mistaken, I believe that's where they've always printed the Plain Dealer. And now that they've closed the writers building downtown, I believe whatever few writers are no longer working remotely, I believe they were moved to this building here. It's always been a massive building. I think my brother, when he was in college for his lean principles class, at the end of the semester, I think his instructor had the course meet there for like a tour so they could check out the operations management of the purpose of lean principles is to showcase like the most effective and fast way to do something without error. So you just kind of analyze the process and how the machinery's moving from point A to point B, point C, etc. That was back before we had phones though, so there really weren't many pictures you could take. I think I did give him I had essentially what looked like a flip phone back at the time. I think I gave him that, but the battery power was low and he only got a few simple pictures. So let's see, you still have to go cautiously here. Make sure cars aren't turning. When I was a kid, none of this was developed into any restaurants of any kind. It was just, you would drive through. But now, on the right, you have Buffalo Wild Wings, Carrabba's. There's a Panera Bread on the right. On the left, there's a Starbucks. I don't remember the Starbucks being here, so maybe that's relatively new. There's also TGI Fridays. Yeah, this used to be a Steak and Shake on the left where Starbucks is. That's because that's what I was thinking of. Steak and Shake was the place I always remembered. Somewhere it says there's a, oh, there it is, Chipotle. There's a Hampton Inn, Hooley House Sports Pub. On the right side, there's also a Cracker Barrel. And a Key Bank. I don't know if it's a full bank or just a ATM. Oh, and a Sheetz gas station on the left here. Alright, pause the video there briefly to judge the light better and find a better time to cross, which is right now. I have my bike lock in my backpack because I'm trying to reduce the amount of clanking noise while I'm on these bumpy sidewalks. But once I get to Big Creek, since that's mainly a trail, I'm going to attempt to pause the video and take the lock out of my backpack so I can reduce some of the stress on my back. There's an Aldi on the right. I know they remodeled that one, as they did many of them years ago. So yeah, the 71 bus comes down here. You can see where you can pick it up. There's a McDonald's, Raising Cane's on the right. There used to be a Pizza Hut. I don't know, maybe the Pizza Hut was further left. Or is that it over there? Yeah, maybe the Pizza Hut's probably closer to Ridge Road. On the left here would be a Sam's Club, followed by a Walmart, and then if I kept going right, there's a Home Depot. Maybe a challenge to get through some of these intersections here. I'm going to try to walk through after this one. Thank you. I like walking through certain places like that just because it kind of gives you a chance to jump out in front while gauging whether the cars could actually stop, and then you can possibly back up or whatever. Now, this gravel looks terrible up here, so I'm going to cut through the gas station for a second. I probably missed the light hitting the button. No. The reason I say no is because this is one of those intersections that takes forever to change up. Well, while I'm here waiting, the 54 bus goes down Brookpark Road. That's where we're at right now, the intersection of Brookpark. which goes a long distance, both left and right, or west or east. I believe, if my memory serves me correct, I think eastward is that where the golf course is, or is it on the left? I shouldn't speculate. It's been too long since I've gone down Brookpark regularly. But if you're thinking of the Brookpark Rapid Station, it would be, I think, on this road, just very much going to the right. All right, and to save a tiny bit of time, I'm going to stop the video here. Just wait for the light. Okay, let's see if I'm right. The yellow lights are changing. So they have traffic only going one way at a time. So like I said before, Sam's Club and Walmart are toward your left. On the right side here, Big Creek Plaza, you've got a nail spa, some income tax place, a Subway, sushi place, and a Big Creek convenience store. Like that the convenience store is playing off of the Big Creek name. Let's see here. I know this goes into Big Creek, but for some reason I'm thinking that there's more signage over here, and I wanted to capture the sign. Yeah, there we go. Big Creek Reservation. So I'm going to go back to that trail. But first I wanted to get a picture of where we were at. Named 2021 Best Park in the Nation for the Cleveland Metro Parks. I should get one selfie here. Forgive the pause here. See, it's a good picture, right? Big Creek Reservation. All right, back to business. Well, I guess I could, yeah. So there's the Walmart I was talking about. I've seen the Walmart there, the outside facade of it remade probably like 3 different times. Also, when you see videos of big time flooding in Cleveland, this is an area that gets super flooded all the time. I know another area that sometimes gets flooded is in just entering Lakewood at 117th and Madison, underneath that bridgeway. Yeah, let's get started on the Big Creek Parkway Trail. Actually, shoot, I hate to ruin my momentum, but just making sure my video is recording. Yep. You hate to start doing the whole trail and forgot that you had a mental block and weren't recording. Now the Big Creek Parkway Trail actually goes, like I could go all the way out to past Middleburg Heights and into Strongsville, and I think it turns into a different named trail at some point. By the way, the temperature is awesome right now in the inside of here. So cool. You can see some of the trail is chipped away. I wonder how that happened. It's deteriorated a little bit like that. But yeah, you'll always see bike riders, walkers, And usually deer going through here.
That chills me that
And the park isn't just a trail. There's a lot of like picnic areas, places to sit. And you'll see some of those be more exposed as we go through the trail. The furthest I've ridden, and it wasn't going to Brown's training camp, it was coming home from Brown's training camp, but the furthest I've taken this trail is when coming home from Brown's training camp. I would go there one way, like past Brookpark Road and Smith Road, taking more city streets. But there's also, like on the way home, you could go a different direction, which leads into Big Creek Parkway. And that's just past the Southland area. Let's see, if I go left here, there would be a little bridge that takes you over to parking area. There's actually a ton of geese down there. But I know if I continue more on the trail, it again goes out into other areas that are more visible, like without the trees surrounding both directions. Oh shoot, you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to take my lock off of my back and get some weight off. That tree was just chopped down recently. I'm gonna ride a little bit further ahead so I'm away from that group I just passed, and then I'm gonna stop for a second here and try to take my lock off. All right, so that feels much better, having the lock on my bike off of my back. And I got a little water break there, especially when you're talking and bike riding the whole time, like narrating. You kind of forget sometimes how you need a little bit of water just to quench your thirst again, make it easier to talk. Hoping we can capture some deer through here. When I took my pictures back in November 2020, it was a different riding experience because instead of seeing all the greenery, it was a very beautiful orangish, brownish color. And it was nice because, you know, the leaves had not fallen yet, so it was like a true fall day. So I still have all those pictures. I'll probably, when I do a Twitter or Instagram post, do like a comparison before and after on at least one of the pictures to show the different color changes of the season, of the seasons. Yeah, see that clank you heard was the lock on my bike. So anytime I go over a sudden bump, you might hear that. Oh shit. Hi dear. Sorry, you probably guys didn't see that on the camera initially. They're just enjoying their grass. Oh, they're running away. Sorry guys. Look at it. See how they're like right up against the house? Hopefully that showed up on the camera as I'm watching them. See, they're going up. I don't know if you can tell. They're going through the pathway up there. Good reminder to be careful while you're riding through here, because who knows, those deer could sprint out. I knew I would see them though, because anytime I go through here riding on the bike, you usually see the deer not just in one spot, but in like 3 or 4 different spots. I remember the one deer I saw in particular in November 2020. Granted, I wasn't like super close to it, but I was watching it for a while and it didn't mind me at all. So I got some really nice pictures of that one. I didn't build my momentum going up this hill. That was interesting. Just spot we just passed on the left had almost like a clothing bag, as if someone was camping or sleeping out there, but looked to be abandoned. So here is Snow Road off of Parma Heights. I don't see a, well, there's a button way up here on the pole to cross the street. So after I cross here, I'm just gonna pause the video for a second before I continue. Just going to answer something on my phone. All right, I'm back now. My plan is to ride out to 130th Street. You see the sign here says slow, go slower because of the curve. Yeah, I'm planning on going out to 130th Street where Southland is. And this is why they want you to be slow, to make sure you're stopping here. The car slowed down and allowed me to pass. Yeah, there's a swing set on the left and a bunch of open areas where you can picnic or sit on a picnic bench. Yeah, I think I was saying earlier, I plan on stopping around 130th where Southland Plaza is. I don't know if I'll get there in time, but if I get to Marc's in Southland before, let's say before 6:45 p.m. Right now it's close to 6 o'clock p.m. Then I would like to stop in there and do a quick video capture of the birds that used to be in Marc's, and I anticipate still are. On the left there it says hiking trail only, no bicycles. So the bicycles should stay on the outside path here. I put on some sunscreen ahead of time before this ride. But with the cool weather and the lot of shade that the trees are offering, I should be pretty well protected in that regard. Here's one of the uphill parts. We try to power up it. Tad out of breath, right? I should be in a little bit better shape, but I think it's still challenging for anyone to pedal uphill. Also some pretty big houses on the right. There is a sign over there that says Ranch Village Apartments. Maybe that's further on back though. Unless all these places here are modeled like homes, but just as apartments. There's this one spot a little bit further down, I think. That's my favorite, or at least in the fall time, it was my favorite picture spot on the trail. Probably try to actually go back and look at my old photos and find the exact spot I was standing and line it up for a picture by picture comparison. Although I think back then I still had a pretty thick, full beard. Part of the like growing it out during COVID when no one else was seeing you thing. It wasn't a big beard growing downward, it was just more full on my face instead of being like the, what do you want to call it, like a chin strap beard that I usually have and have right now. That walking path I was mentioning earlier, that where bicycles couldn't go, I know you can't tell from the video, but on the left, I can see it like down below. So the elevation is quite different. They're probably a good 40 feet below where we're riding. So we're kind of like riding up top here. And it looks like that walking trail may eventually come up to the left here. So they have a big hill to walk up in order to get back to this point. That's probably nice that there's a little bit of separation for them so they can walk peacefully in at least one spot without worrying about whether a biker is going to zip behind them. I try to always be conscientious of that as a bike rider myself. I either slow down or in certain cases will ring my bike bell to alarm them when they're coming. Although I prefer not to ring my bell if I don't have to, because I don't want to alarm people, make them jump or something. Here is Stump Road off of Big Creek Parkway. I see two walk buttons here. I think they're one on the right, one on the left. I'm assuming they're both connected though. Not sure why they have two sets of them though. I always thought that was a funny road name, Stump. I think there was also an intersection called like Stuckney or Stickney and Stump. I don't know, for some reason that's in my head. But Stump Road. We have a little doggy here. Not. Oh, yeah, they are leashed. Hello. For some reason, I'm thinking my picture point is coming up soon. I think this is the spot right over this bridge right here. Yeah. So November 2020, when I saw the deer, it was like right here, like against that tree, and it was just minding its business, so I got like great pictures of it. And then on the left here, I love the scenery of just seeing the creek, the water flowing, and again, at the time it was orange and brownish trees. So I'm going to go ahead and quickly try to find that picture that I shot and line up a picture comparison, and then I'll continue the ride here. I do have to be careful though, because I'm standing where if a bike rider was coming, they would be riding on this lane. So I'll probably park my bike over here on the right so that I am not disturbing potential bikers flying around the corner. All right, I am back to riding now. Actually took a little bit of detective work to find that spot. I thought I had it at first, and then I started comparing the pictures more, and it was like, wait a minute, you know, something doesn't look like with that tree. So I had to backtrack about 20 feet, and then I found the spot. But the magnification on my old phone that I used to have when I took that old picture versus the phone I have now is different. So I couldn't quite get it lined up perfectly, but it'll more than suffice. As now I'm flying into a bunch of like flies or bugs in the air. I probably have like a bunch of them. God, they're all over the place. Oh my God. Can you, I was gonna say there's probably a bunch of them dead on my, can you see, they flew off. I don't know if you can see my arm. There's like 20 of them. Oh my God, on both sides of my arms. They're probably all over my face too. And that's what happens when they get caught in your arm hair, for example. They can't really escape. Sorry that I'm making like spitting sounds or whatever, but that area, those flies were rampant for some reason. So now in this part of the trail, you can see that we actually go kind of out of the park. Like Big Creek Parkway, the park itself sort of ends, but the trail is now in the middle with traffic both on the left and right, but completely separate by the greenery. So that's another reason why I like this trail. Sure, there's a bit more stops now when you have to watch for traffic, but it's nice to get that variety on the trail where you're not just seeing the same thing everywhere. And actually no traffic is coming on either side, and you could see the walk sign was about to change for me. So I know whenever I get to this part of the trail that I'm getting closer to Southland. I haven't checked Google Maps for a while, but I anticipate it won't be too much further. to stop here because I see this car has its turn signal on. Maybe I'll use this time to pick off some of the dead fly skin that's still in my arms. I like that they have a few benches along this trail still. I think it's always an essential part of any trail to have some benches here and there, because you never know when you're going to want to rest. And granted, you could look at this guy, one of those bikers pedaling in the air. Forget what those bikes are called. Never tried one myself. In my head, I just don't know how you would stop. Like if I want to pause, I'd be able to like take my feet off the pedal and put at least one leg on the ground. Like, I don't know what you do when your legs are in the air like that. What happens when you want to stop? Is the bike stable enough to just like be aerodynamic or whatever? And how do you not fall down off of it? Or maybe your leg can just easily touch the ground and balance yourself. If anyone's following on Google Maps, Fernhurst is the street that we just passed. All these houses, again, still very nice. It looks like they're 2 levels, but more ranch-like. Like I anticipate mostly everything is on 1 level, with a smaller 2nd level or attic type of area. Oh, we're here already, West 130th Street. But one of these days I may do a video that goes all the way out to Strongsville, but since I kind of planned today's trip somewhat impromptu, what I'm going to do is after I cross I'm going to make a left and go towards Southland Shopping Center. But like I said earlier, when I've taken this to Berea or from Berea coming home, I believe I was further on. Like I don't think I went down 130th Street, but I could be wrong on that. The last time I rode the bike coming home this way was probably 4 or 5 years ago. Other than that, I usually will take a bus out to training camp. And these days you have to book a ticket and do a reservation system and lottery ticket system for training camp, so no guarantee I'll even be able to get out there. This is probably one of the only, maybe worst parts of the trail is 130th Street is a busy street, so you do have to, it's a little bit awkward having to ride in the middle and wait. Although technically, as long as that green arrow, isn't on to the left, you should be pretty safe and trusting that traffic's going to abide by it. Let's see here, that light's turning yellow, so I think we're next. And maybe the traffic ahead of us gets to go to their left first. If it doesn't change for us, I will not cross and go to the left instead. All right, there we go. So I'm assuming when it says walk for us that I'm like literally the only traffic that it's giving the signal for. Yeah, everything else has a red light. So that's a good thing to know, that whenever you do get the walk sign, you're literally the only source of traffic able to go. Now I kind of awkwardly sit here knowing I'm responsible for all the traffic being at a standstill. So even though we're not in Cleveland, there's a Cleveland Fitness Club to our right. Dragon Gate. I think that used to be a Pizza Hut on the left. There's a sign that says Shadows Bar and Grill. I don't know if these places are still active. It doesn't look like Shadows Bar and Grill is active. Ganley here on the right is a vacant lot now, so Ganley is no longer here. See that place over there with the community grows here, party decor? They used to be way back when. Again, this is my reference point, is like 10 to 15 years ago. It used to be a place called it was either Second City or Secondhand Buys, and I used to love that place because it would be like a used item place, but if an item was there for like more than, the longer an item was there, like if it was there for 30 days, maybe they took 30% off the price or something like that. If it was there beyond 90 days, you would get it for free. So I used to dig on the shelves always, and as a kid, and think to myself like, oh, I would love to find any free items that I can. And every so often I would find one like that fell between the cracks, maybe a random stuffed animal or character or toy or some type of kitchen utensil. Usually nothing like super valuable, but just, what can I say, that thrilled me as a kid. Find something that was for free and go up to the counter and be like, hey, you know, this is free. Kind of goes back to my garage sale stories I was referencing. See, the 83 bus goes out here. That'll eventually go to Lakewood Park, so if you're trying to go back to Lakewood or to this area, you can take the 83. So here's Einstein Bagels. There's actually a few things I want to show here, so maybe after I go to Marc's I'll show some of the other things. On the left there, you see where it says Jerry Coon's Quick Car Wash. For some reason I'm thinking either that or the next building over. It's probably the next building. It actually does still say barber shop. That's what I was going to bring up. It says barber shop down there. I think that when I was younger, that was like the barber that my dad liked going to. So that was always interesting. I wonder if it's the same guy. I doubt it. A Guy Thing barber shop. Looks like the sign says open, but I don't see anybody in there. Somewhere on the left here. Oh, you know what? It may be that building further on down. Let me make sure I'm being conscious of traffic here. There's the Marc's that I'm going to go to. The Southland Marc's. There's also a Giant Eagle a little bit further to the right. Let me see if I can go a little bit closer without actually going up to it. I may be getting the building wrong, but let's say for the sake of argument, see where that green awning is in the distance? Looks like it says Mr. B's Pub and Brewery now. But if it wasn't that, it was a place that was slightly further down, or it could have been, you know, this place to the left. I don't know. Long story short, there used to be an Arthur's Treachers. I don't know if anyone remembers that place, or if that was just a local thing, or if that was national. I don't know. I just remember it was an Arthur Treachers. And again, this is a story from when I was a kid. I remember we parked there. Our dad went inside. He got some type of order, and I feel like something was wrong with the fries. And my dad went back inside and must have pissed off the manager and said something bad about the fries. God, I wish I remember what the funny catchphrase that he used was. But next thing we know, again, I'm like a little kid sitting in the back seat of the car. Whoever the manager on duty was, like, comes out to our car and just starts shouting, like, "You're banned, you're banned, you're banned, you can't come back to the store ever." So that was my one experience with Arthur Treachers. Could be even pronouncing the name of the store wrong. Let's see here before we go on the Marcs, there's something called Tuesday Morning there. I've never heard of that. There's a UFC gym. Interesting. I wonder if, I guess it's UFC fighters or people interested in training for mixed martial arts can go there. So Joanne Fabrics. And after I go to Marc's, I'll probably try to do a little bit of a stroll around. If I remember correctly, there wasn't a bike rack right up against Marc's. When I used a bike rack in the past, I think I actually went to the one by Giant Eagle over here. So I will probably park or ride down by Giant Eagle. I see the bus stop is actually behind me in Southland Shopping Center. Back when COVID was happening, I don't remember, I feel like all these businesses were still open. I remember Bath and Body Works, either this one or the store before it, had I think it was Bath and Body Works, so it had a line because they were restricting the number of customers that could come in at the time. Yep, here's the good old reliable bike rack. So I'll lock things up. I'm not going to do a full walkthrough of the store because I'm sure they don't prefer that. But I'm going to lock this up and hopefully show a little bit of the birds inside Marc's. If you've never been inside of a Marc's before, their closeout section is always full of random things that are just fun to look at. And like, sometimes I never paid attention to the random decorations they have. Like, first off, you got the random closeouts, but look at this on the ceiling. They have like almost a merry-go-round thing, a track with all these devices of transportation, like the various horses. Actually, I forgot to have the first-person view that I need to put on the camera instead of the tilt-locked. Yeah, all the things just slowly going around. There's even a disco ball down there. That's not a transportation thing. But then all the random closeouts. Never know what you're going to find in the closeout section. But let's see, are birds still here? What the heck? The lights are off. Where's the birds? No. The birds are gone. Oh, I'm crushed. You know what I may have to do? I may have to go back and do a separate video and link to it of the birds back in November 2020. Wow. Like, there's the signs of the names of the birds are all gone too. They must have, I don't know. I guess they're no longer here. I thought I'd read maybe there were another location they had birds at, but this was always the original one. Bummer. So I just saw a worker walking by and I said, "Oh, what happened to the birds?" And he said, "Oh, Marc," meaning Marc Glassman. He's the guy who founded or runs Marc's. He said he finally gave them to someone. I don't know if it was I forgot what he said, if it was like one of his relatives or what. I said, "Oh, okay, thanks for the update." And he said, there's still 3 more of them, but they're in the back. But I don't know which 3 they are, because there used to be ones like Tashi and, what was the name of the Peaches? Tashi and Peaches. Tashi was a blue one, and Peaches was a white one. They used to make a lot of noise, but yeah, it's sad that they're not there anymore. Just a real quick note, we're actually breaking this video up into 2 different parts. So part 2 continues in the video link that you're going to see right here next to me.